That
Good.
cuts it up for intros there, so we want to get into the game. We think we can do that.
Let's do it. Let's go right into game one. We have Tie Alliance versus Lag Wars. Lag Wars is, of course, a red team, and Tie Alliance is our blue team. Uh, let's. Do you want to go through the builds? Do you want to go through the meta that we're going to be dealing with this game?
Yeah, so this is actually, I believe at least, this is the first time we've ever seen an Asian meta that we're going to be seeing here. So let's take a look at it first. We're going to take a look at Tile Alliance, taking our first look here at Tipsy Jitriard, I believe is how he pronounced his name. So we'll just call him Tipsy. Running with 3 wells here, also running with 7 runes of the undead, a staff, and then Scepter Warhorn, a Shaman's Amulet, and then the traits are going to be 0, 20, 20, 30. Moving on to Saravi Introspector, so what we calling him Saravi, is going to be running with that triple Spirit Ranger build that we're starting to see a little bit more and more after the recent patch. Some Rangers have decided to go to this as they see Beastmaster as a little bit less effective than it was, but some are still sticking with it. I believe one of the Rangers on the red team is running with that now, so he's going to be running with 6 runes of Dwayna, a Great Sword, an Axe and Dagger, as well as a Shaman's Amulet as well. Going over to his traits, running with 0, 0, 30, 30, 10. Vlex Remix, the thief over here, is running with our Scepter or Sword Dagger build that we see a lot on other parts of the world as well. Sorry, I think you can agree with that.
Absolutely. This is a build popularized and actually I think invented by NA's very own Jumper. And I think he'd be happy to see that his build permeates the global scene as well here, man.
Mm-hmm. Taking a look at it there, it's going to be running with 7 runes of Lissa, Sword Dagger, 2 Sword Daggers, actually both of them with superior runes of energy, and I believe with superior runes of air as well. The traits, 0, 30, 0, 30, 10. Rogue Sven over here, the Guardian, is going to be running with 6 runes of the Soldier, a Scepter Shield, as well as a Sword and Focus, along with a Cleric's Amulet. The traits, 0, 0, 10, 30, 30. So this as well is the build that we are seeing played a lot in other regions as well. Running with 3 shouts in order to counter possibly conditions that could come in for Necromancers or other heavy condition classes. And it's tended to be popularized more recently, running with 3 shouts as Save Yourselves over the Sanctuary that a lot of Guardians were taking about a month ago because of the recent increase in condition damage. And then last but not least over here on Tie Alliance, we're going to be having Jerry E running with, let's take a look-see, at 6 runes of the Ogre, Dagger Warhorn, as well as another staff, the Berserker's Amulet. The traits are 30, 30, 30, 30, 10, not running with the Doomfire, I should mention, and then 2 wells, Corrupt Boon, and that Summon Flesh Golem.
Really excited to see how this goes. For the blue team here, Tie Alliance, this is of course our Taiwanese team, our very first one. Let's go over to the red team. Let's look at what's going on. I'm in on Calms Blue. Let's see what he's doing. He's just rocking out here, sitting down and such. But he's running an interesting set of utilities for this. He's running Bomb Kit, Elixir U, and Toolkit, as well as the kind of, I wouldn't say standard, but it's pretty standard now, the Shield and Pistol with the Rabid Amulet. This is stuff that we see God from the NA, the guy who goes around 1v1ing everybody and winning. This stuff, that's the same combination that we see him using. Now let's go over his traits. It's 30, 0, 0, 30, and 10. Blue, what do you think of that?
Well, that build has tended to be something a lot of engineers using, just going 30 points into explosives, obviously to get the bonuses to explosives, such as Grenade Kit and our Bomb Kit, whatever the engineer chooses to run. And then the 30 points into Alchemy as well has, again, because of the recent shift in the meta going towards almost complete condition damage, a lot of engineers have opted to take automated response as well, like we're seeing there. So he's going to be taking that. And then obviously the 10 points tools for speeding kits will allow him to move around the points a lot faster. Oh, and I think we lost Cyrif there, but we'll get him back in just a second. Anyway, taking a look at it here. The utilities themselves, which did go away, please note he is running with Elixir U, which is now a stun breaker, but it's something that you really don't see any engineers running. So it's going to be pretty cool to see how that works out. Moving over now to Rock Dog, who is running with a Destruction of the Empowered, but I believe with 7 runes of Lissa, Axe Shield, as well as a Great Sword, that usual Berserker's Amulet. I do apologize for the Skype noises. Let me turn those off real quick. Skyriff can call me back in just a second. Running here with 10 runes, or 10 points into Strength, 20 points into Arms, 10 points into Tactics, and then 30 points into Discipline in order to get Destruction of the Empowered, and the other traits as well. Tuna, looking at the Elementalist here, is going to be running with 0, 10, I believe 0, 10, yeah, 0, 10, 0, 30, 30, and a Dagger build, so a lot of damage being thrown out there. However, he's still running with the Cleric's Amulet, so it is going to be somewhat defensive as well. Demon Duck here, the Ranger, is still opting to run with what would otherwise be considered a pretty, Surf again? Hey, you back? Cyrif? Hello?
Guys, just getting
there
back in game. Had a slight network problem. That is all fixed. I'll be back in a second.
Alright, so anyway, let's keep going over the teams here. Demon Duck of Dooms, the ranger over here, is going to be running. Let's take a look at his stuff. With 6 runes of the Forge, Axe Torch, as well as a Sword Dagger. Shaman's Amulet. The traits are going to be 0030 20 20, so this is what some would consider the usual Beastmaster build that was nerfed recently, but some rangers are still running, such as this one here on Lagors. That extra 10 points into Nature Magic would usually go into Beast Mastery, but he's chosen to put it there in order to boost his Spirit of Nature. And then last but not least, Nulita, I believe, if we're pronouncing that correctly here. Let's just open up his stuff and see what he's got there. With 7 runes of the Mesmer, Zenith Spire, which is going to be that staff, and then he's also running with Sword Torch. Now that right there has caught me completely off guard, because I've never ever up to this point, since I came back a couple of months back, ever seen a torch used in competitive play. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. His other choices are going to be with Illusion of Life, Decoy, and Mirror Images here. And the traits themselves are going to be 20, 20, 0, 0, 30. So the traits, looking at them here just really quick, it seems to be a usual Shatter build, but the use of Torch has somewhat caught me off guard. So I'm going to have to wait and see how that goes. And he's actually changing his utilities here, so I'm not completely sure what he's doing.
He's going to Signets right now.
He might just be trying to throw me off a little bit there, but I do think it's going to be a usual Shatter build. It's just the addition of Torch that has seemed a bit weird to me. And anyway,
he's switching back to he's doing some weird stuff, flipping his skills. But let's talk more about the Torch. I don't think I've ever seen Torch used in competitive play ever, which is interesting to me. But I mean, it's going to give you a blast finisher on that 4 there, and I mean, that might be used in the beginning before he switches. I think we're like ready to go if they are. So let's tell them to ready up. Ready to go when you are. So I am actually extremely excited to do this right now, because this is the very first sort of like Asian expose, or putting these guys up on a pedestal for all of you guys to see. I am so excited. I feel like, honestly, the way I feel right now is like the way that Sean Buell sounds when he talks about anything Guild Wars 2. That guy gets so excited. I know he's in chat. I know he's listening. I'm channeling my inner Sean right now, it's basically.
And right now, guys, we are just waiting. I think our other caster over there, I think this is being simulcasted in Chinese as well, so I think he's just wrapping up his discussion there, and once we get the check marks from him, we'll be getting this rolling. But I do think most of TIE Alliance here is ready to go. Please keep in mind for those of you just tuned in, and actually I need to double check to make sure I have the overlays correct. And yes, I do. TIE Alliance is going to be over here on the blue team. Once again, TIE Alliance consisting of Jerry E, Rogue Sven, I'm just going to call him Vilu, Cerave, and Tipsy. And over here on the red team, we're going to have Lagwars, our only Aussie team in here, consisting of Calms, Rock Dog, Cantuna, Demon Duck, and Yulita.
Absolutely. I do think that that Velix or Vilu or whatever, I think that might, for simplicity's sake, let's call him Vile Remix. I feel like that might be an easier way to go. Personally, I'm a fan of the underdog story in any country with just one team in it. Man, that's got me going here.
Alrighty, and here we go. You want to go over the splits, Sarah?
Absolutely. Let's look at the splits. We're in on the map, I guess. Oh my god, we're seeing 4 blue cut through the bottom half. I think they're going to go straight to mine. This is going to be really interesting, as they've only got 1 person to henge. Red team's opting to split, forgoing their own point, getting pulling spawn here with their warrior and going straight to the keep. So this is actually going to work out in blue's favor entirely. They've got no one to defend.
Taking a look at it, they're pretty much going to get it for a free point there as well. They've captured their close point, so they're going to have that, and they're more likely going to start out with an advantage. The issue now, and I think we are going to see, if red team chooses to shift themselves because they know everyone from blue team, and they decide to go for henge instead, blue team could be in a bit of trouble here. So we are seeing red team move themselves over there now. Absolutely.
One problem, though, is that red team is actually missing a person. This is currently a 4v5 for blue team. Rules go, I think, that the as if you DC, it's not going to restart, but we will give you time to get back in. You are allowed to get back in. This is not going well for the red team right now. They missed their home point player. We're looking at henge right now, or we should be. We're going to see Nulita trying to deal with, and Nulita and Rock Dog trying to deal with the home point people for the blue team, which is Saravi and Introspector. He goes down, and red team's actually going to manage to take their far point, but here comes red team. Here comes blue team rather. Rock Dog going to be taken on by Jerry E, and Tipsy's coming in to get on the point. A Shadow Refuge goes down by the red team here. That's going to keep them defended and keep them invisible, of course, to the enemy team. But it looks like blue team is going to push them off point. They've got it decapped. They just need, there it is, Vile Remix getting on the point, and blue team will have this locked down, no problem. Meanwhile, at mine, we have Cantuna going up against Rogue Sven. So this is going to be an interesting fight here. We've got Cantuna, who's running the Dagger build, and Rogue Sven. Blue, what do you think this Ellie on Ellie battle is going to end up in?
Rogue Sven's actually a Guardian. I'm just sorry to call you out there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But anyway, Rogue Sven here is running a bit of an interesting build just to open it up again. The weapon sets are a bit unorthodox compared to what I usually see. Now, don't get me wrong, Scepter Shield is a pretty normal thing, but most Guardians are running something like Staff and or Hammer in their offset. He's going to be running with Sword Focus, which is a bit of a weird combination. I think he was trying to go for possibly a little bit of offensive powers with that, maybe. But I mean, and well, he's managed to last himself off there, so for the time being, I think it's working.
Absolutely. No, Blue's opting to pull their Chieftain right now, and they're also descending upon the Mind Point. They really want to keep this lockdown, keep that 2-cap. The score is 139 to 68 in the favor of Blue Team. Red Team's 5th finally got back. That's Cantuna. He's back online, and he was the one who's trying to aggress that point, but I mean, it's all for naught at this point. Meanwhile, at the Henge, we've got Calms going to go in for that back cap with what looks to be Cerevi Introspector trying to do that defense, but looks like the decap is strong with this one, but actually Calms goes off point for a little bit. Let's see what else is going on in the map here. Looks like Rogue Sven keeping that mine point capped, and we're going to have Rock Dog and Cantuna going for attempt number 2 on taking the mine back for their team.
Indeed, taking a look at the mine fight now, we do have Rogue Sven holding strong in a 2v1 right now. As well over here at the Henge, we have one down player for the red team. Calms is down. Blue team has successfully taken that now with the reinforcements coming in, so they're going to be taking that one for themselves. Back over here at the mine, though, red is heavily aggressed as Rogue Sven tries to hold on to here. Keep in mind, this is the far point, so they have chosen to put their Guardian on the far point itself. This is something that even a lot of teams in EU and NA are starting to do now, as the meta sort of shifts away from, or shifts towards conditions a little bit. I think some teams are deciding that it might be better to put Guardians on the far point, because there might not be as much condition damage. However, he has taken a lot of damage now and is being forced off the point, and I think we have another fight over here at Henge again as well.
Absolutely. That fight's a bit over. Cerevi
yeah.
That lockdown. But at mine, we've seen Cantuna finally get that point. But what we're also seeing is that red team opting to keep one of their men, Demon Duck, on the keep point, which means they're down a man in team fights, and that's not going to help them try and take back anything. They're obviously getting the mine back now. They might get decapped, though, as Blue's got so much presence over there. You can see Tipsy and Rogue Sven and just so much blue over here. We're seeing Jerry E off the point, but managing to get Newlita down in the down state. Let's see what's exactly on the point here. It seems to be Tipsy and Vile and Rogue Sven just really trying to deal with Cantuna and Calms, and here comes Jerry E and Rock Dog to add to the mix. This is in the numbers fight, this is in Blue's favor here, but I think that red team can totally manage to pull this back if they get people off the respawn. And we're seeing Calms, he's about to go down. Looks like Cantuna popping that misform, trying to get out as well. Both red players are down, and here come the stomps from the blue team, and there it is. Calms is down, and Cantuna is down as well. This is blue team's point, Blue.
Indeed, it is blue team's point out, and the Ulita's trying to come in. This is something that red team has, but unfortunately is making the mistake of. Now, they do have that close proximity to the spawn, but because they're sending so many people in here just one by one, they're unfortunately, and the Ulita's actually doing a pretty nice job holding on right now, but they're unfortunately just going to get knocked out one by one instead of waiting to group up, maybe pushing over to Henge instead, trying to ninja that away, and they're kind of just losing manpower one by one here.
Yeah, we're finally seeing Demon Duck leave the midpoint. I don't know where he's going. It looks like he might go over to Henge to try and fight Cerevi Introspector, and this is going to be a Ranger on Ranger fight. And meanwhile, the Mine fight has kind of dispersed. Newlita is finally going down. Rogue Sven is going to get that point, and he's going to try and just deeps Newlita down as the blue team tries to scramble for the other points here. Red team still has got keep. The fight between Demon Duck and Cerevi Introspector has finally made it to the Henge point. So if Demon Duck can get Cerevi down, he's going to be able to get this point for his team, and it seems to be that there's a lot of blue descending here. Here comes Jerry, here comes Tipsy, actually 2 flesh golems in here. Let's see what goes on in this fight here.
Indeed, taking a look at this fight here, Demon Duck was just knocked out. Cerevi Introspective will be stomping him out here now. Unfortunately, we do have some red team reinforcements, but they are kind of hesitant now as their teammate was just stomped out. So I think they might want to wait until they can get a better group and possibly get their Mesmer over here to come over there with them. But he is going to be going on to mine once more. That one will continue, and I think we are going to have the Warrior coming over to support this time as well. But at the same time, blue team will be sending their Necromancer around the back and their other Necromancer around the front to come back into the mine to help that as well.
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that I'm really noticing is that in these team fights, the teams are sort of really spread out. They seem to be rushing one point, and then here comes a flood of the other team. Let's get out of here. And they're just sort of getting picked off on the fights on the way out, as well as getting just sort of separated here. We're seeing at the Chieftain, Saravi getting going in on him. No real aggression from anyone else. He'll get it, but Calms is going to cap that far point, and so Saravi will try and come back and get that. Let's go back to the fight at the mine, however. Demon Duck is on point with Tipsy and Rogue Sven. This is going to be, they're going to try and knock him off point and get those caps. It's really blue team's favor, though, even though they're 2 capped. It's 420 to 242. It is heavily in blue team's favor. If red team can 3 cap, of course, there is a possibility of coming back, but it looks unlikely, as at the Henge, Saravi is going up against Calms and managing to get him off point. Probably enough time to get that that point capped for the blue team if they can keep Calms off the point long enough. Rogue Sven on the mine right now. Everything is going in blue team's favor, in Thai Alliance's favor. I see them winning this probably about 500 to maybe 300 at this point, blue.
I can pretty much agree with you there. We are seeing red team group up here now, and this is what I think the big issue was with red team in this game. And I don't want to call it because there is still the chance for that to get 3 cap. But the big issue with the red team seems to be that they're really not grouping up as well as they could be here. They're sending people in 1 to a point when blue team is somewhat obviously sending 2 to 3 people there at the same time. And with that, it's sort of just letting the blue team Thai Alliance knock them out one by one and allowing them to easily take these points.
Absolutely. We're seeing the Shadow Refuge going down on the Henge. Lots of action going on here. Let's go in with Rock Dog, the warrior here. He's kind of trying to get this point for red team. There's just a matter of time for blue team, really. They're at 488, 493 now with that kill. This game is going to be over in 2 seconds. The GG should be going up momentarily. Rock Dog managing to get those last hits on people. We're seeing Tipsy kind of getting in the... Actually, no, the decap's going to go off on the Henge, and there's the blue team win, 296 to 500. That was actually pretty close.
Indeed. It was a pretty close first game, but like I said, one of the big issues that I think we saw there was the fact that apologies, Lag Wars was where just in general it seems that I'm sorry, I'm having real issues with these team names. Thai Alliance. Alliance was definitely grouped up a little bit better as a team, and because of that, they were able to mesh themselves around other points a lot better, and in general, just exercise a lot more control over the map.
Absolutely. You know, just the fact that they weren't able to come in as a group and coordinate those team fights, that is sort of what sealed the deal for Lag Wars in that game. But now we're going to Legacy of the Foe Fire, a map very familiar for all of us who played Guild Wars 1 Blue. I know that you're not graced with being a veteran of the map, but not of the map, but of the game. But I'm sure you've played enough of the map to know that this is a very straightforward map. If we could just pull it up. It's we've got the waterfall, the graveyard, and the quarry, all 3 cap points, and then we've got the 2 bases. It looks with red in the bottom and blue in the north, and this is it's like a diagonally symmetrical map. It's one of the favorites. It's also got the Guild Lord Rush mechanic, whereupon if you break into the base of the opposing team, kill off their Guild Lord, you get 150 points. So we see a lot of teams just capping 350 points and rushing straight to the Lord. Excuse me, to end the game. But of course, this is a very risky gambit, and I want to see what they actually do. I want to see if one of these teams decide to make it their focus to all in on that Lord Rush, or what happens.
Indeed. I think it's going to be interesting to see. We do have the Thai Lines grouping up a lot better. So, and like I said, we don't really know anything about either of these teams. Thai Lines, never seen them before. Same with Lag Wars. So it's a little hard to predict what they're going to do on this map because we don't have any past references to do for their strategies. But basing that on the last one, I do think we are going to see Thai Alliance, as they did do that. I believe it was Thai Alliance did that crossplay at the beginning. Yeah, of the last game.
Yeah.
So I think we are going to see them do what in general people would consider the more unorthodox thing. So I think we might see them go for that Lord Rush, maybe go for an instant Lord Rush, or I can't. It's hard to tell, to say the least.
Like, not gonna lie, I would love to see that right off the bat, that new meta. But I don't know. One of the things that happened in the last game is when Red was down, like one man, Lag Wars was down, Cantuna who DC'd. So
yeah,
that really just enabled Blue Team to get a snowballing effect that just totally sealed the deal, right? So if they can catch Red Team off, if Thai Alliance can catch Lag Wars off guard here, this is something that they can use to their advantage. Because right now, Lag Wars is on the defensive. They're on the back foot and they're backpedaling. If they can push forward offensively, this is something that we can see them come back, and we'll see a game 3. If not, this may be a best of 2, but I'm really hoping that we get to see this full best of 3 here, Blue.
Indeed, hoping we will as well. And I think at the moment, Okay, and by the way, we actually just got a confirmation in chat. Thai Alliance, I believe they submitted their entry into the tournament a little bit incorrectly there. They are actually from Thailand. They're not from Taiwan.
Awesome.
We've had a bit of confusion in the registry there, but they are from Thailand, so their name does make sense.
It's really great because we were having some like existential problems. Do we say they're from Thailand? They are the Thai Alliance, but we were given information that they were from Taiwan. So sorry for that in the beginning. We'll have it all fixed up in any sort of posts or whatever we do in text. But well, we got our one team from Thailand in this tournament, Blue. What do you think of that compared? What does that change for you, at least as a viewer of this game, to see whether this team is from Taiwan or Thailand?
Well, to say the least, I think it means that this game is definitely reaching a bit of a global community. For those of you who aren't aware, Guild Wars 2 is not actually officially released as of yet in Asia. I believe it is in Australia, but I think they're still in the process of doing all the porting and stuff for Asian markets. So it's really cool to see that some teams have gotten copies of the game. We don't know how they got the copies of the game, but they are still playing the game. Yeah, internet is pretty much the only way we could explain that. And that they are very interested in playing and possibly playing it competitively, too.
You know, I'm just so happy that the communities are coming out, forming these teams, and competing in these tournaments for us to see, because it's really great that, you know, despite the fact the game isn't even out yet there technically, they're just willing to like put out there and go and get the game. No matter how hard it is, they're there and they're here and they're fighting for this tournament win and these amazing prizes from Thermaltake, which are like, again, amazing. So I mean, we're just waiting on these guys to sort of figure out what they're doing. They're readying up, and also these teams are allowed some time to figure out what their strategy is going to be before each game. So just want to quick plug, guys. Don't forget you can win some gems today. We're going to be doing some more giveaways throughout the entire broadcast. I think that one right now is I'll post a link in chat. Just retweet my last tweet. You can win 800 gems. Really easy. All you have to do is go sign up on Twitter, or you can follow me at MLGCyrif. Or follow at Dr_Blue as well, because that is amazing.
As well. And just so everyone knows as well, just keep it to record that this is being played on North American servers, so a lot of these players are suffering from in excess of 3-4, and I think Calm just said he's suffering from 500 ping at the moment, so that's obviously to be considered ridiculous. With these players' skill, with the players, how they're playing as well.
To be able to play with 500 ping is amazing. I know last time, the match is about to begin, but last time as we were in map view, I was seeing some of their icons kind of stutter and pop, and like rubber band around, and I was like, oh my goodness, I hope none of them DC. Unfortunately, Cantuna did DC, but let's see what goes on. It's about 5 seconds till the game starts, Blue. It's round 2. Any predictions?
Like I said, I think we could see TA do something a little bit freaky here. We're going to see in just a second. Let's see what we're going to do. So we're going to be sending 4 out the main gate here. One of the Rangers going out the waterfall. We are going to be having a big group of red team from Lagos here going over to the graveyard. And it looks like 3 of them are going to go to the graveyard, 1 going to quarry. So it actually does look like pretty normal splits. Nope, cancel that. Because
TA's... Look at what Blue is doing. TA is going all the way to quarry, holding up a little bit. Looks they might send someone to see what's going on in graveyard, but no, all the action is going to be here at quarry. Let's get over there as Vile Remix goes in on Cantuna, running that jumper build, rolling around, smashing that 3 key. He's locked down, so much damage is going down at Cantuna. He has no chance, and here's the stomp from Ro10. This is Blue's point. Oh, no, there's a misform, but it will not save him for long, as Ro10 will just need to run over and get the stomp there. Red team does have the graveyard, but Waterfall is being contested by both teams here. We've got Demon Duck and Calms going up against Saravi again. They're kind of their back point player. Meanwhile, Red team is kind of being forced off of graveyard as well, as Blue team's trying to really push towards the waterfall point. There's going to be a huge fight here. It's in between these points here. Red team still is the only one with a capture point right now. Nope, Blue finally gets quarry. It's 22-9 right now in favor of the red team. Quarry's got Nulita on it. She's mowed Ro10. He's trying to do damage and shatter him down right now. Ro10 goes down, and he's going to stomp from Nulita. She'll get this. Oh, no, it gets the 2 to the face right there. Excuse me. And Blue, we're seeing a lot of action all over the map. This is something that Thailand last game just sort of keep Red on the back foot, right?
Yeah, they definitely, and I did miss a part of your sentence there, but they definitely are focalizing themselves on the side points right now, and I think they were doing that last game as well with that early rush to the side point, which they did right again in this game, so I think that is part of their quintessential strategy that they're trying to run for here.
Absolutely. I'm in on the midpoint. There's a huge fight going on here. Lots of red and lots of blue. Look, let's go in with Demon Duck here, who was that back point objective player before, but now he's in here on the mid, trying to focus down Jerry E. Jerry's going to go back and try and get out of the fight and just pepper people from afar with his Necro skills. But let's see, it's like Jerry E is getting around the point, running around circles. Withwas goes down. Withwas was the guardian for Lag Wars here. He's going to get stopped momentarily if he doesn't get up. Nope, he actually pushes away and gets the res right there. Looks like Vile Remix is trying to go in on him as well. So much action, so much particle effects going on right now. There's a fear well going on in the midpoint, and it looks like Sven is managing to chase down Big Crocky. Big Crocky is, no, chase down. Wow, I can't see that. There's so much stuff going on, Blue.
So taking a look right over here at the waterfall, we have another one going on over here. Calms is currently taking on Saravi Introspector. That might go on for a while, but Calms is actually doing a pretty nice job of knocking him off. He is running with that sort of farpoint engineer build with the bomb kit and all that. It is a little strange because he's running with Elixir U, which you don't really see a lot. I haven't been keeping up with with really the NA servers in general as of late, but I mean, with the changes to recent patch, I think a lot of engineers are trying a lot of different things, just in general.
You know, you're absolutely right, but I've been watching a lot of NA stuff. I've kind of been stuck in the NA servers, if you don't know why it's out there. But the Elixir U stuff is not something I've actually seen in my sort of adventures around the NA. But here comes Jerry E and Saravi Introspector. They're trying to take down Calms and finally take this point for the blue team. Notice that this is a total flip of last game. It's 160 to 49. Has no point. Calms is keeping everything down, and Saravi finally manages to get. Oh no, there's Jerry E brought back. That might actually serve as Calms' doom, but no, Jerry's trying to just get off and get to a point here. Let's figure out what else is going on here. At the quarry, there's a big fight going on. We've got Tipsy and Vile Remix and Rogue Sven going up against New Lita, going up against Demon Duck. This is going to be a fight that's in blue team's favor right now if they can get these kills.
Indeed, taking a look at it right here, Tipsy, I'm just going to call him Tipsy here, coming up right now, does have that well here, which again, something I almost never see here. We have Cantupa coming in for the res now, and unfortunately for him, it will go off there. There was a Shadow Vigil down. I believe that was actually in favor of Red Team. I could be wrong on that, though, because we can't actually tell with the particle effect now. So Red Team is going to be taking control of this. We do have Jerry E, but I think he's coming in to try and assist him to try and get out of it. Let's actually jump over to his point of view right now, see what he's doing. We're going to see in a second these marks here. If he's able to pull them off effectively, Red Team will just get pelted with conditions in a second here. And right now, he's actually jumping into his Death Shroud to use a lot of that as well to get the Red Team sort of off of his teammates.
Absolutely, Jerry is doing a great job supporting and getting the Condies down, but we're watching him go in some more. I think this is blue team really being pushed back from the quarry point and back into the mid, and they're actually kind of stuck because we've got New Lita and Demon Duck sort of just forcing them into a kind of a kill zone, really. But here's Rogue Sven. Let's go in with Rogue Sven and see what he's doing here. He's coming up and supporting, but his getting the stomp on New Lita here. Actually, no, he's gonna trigger the animation. New Lita just goes up straight, dies. Cantuna gets onto the quarry point, but he's gonna be met by Jerry E and Vile Remix, and this is gonna be a hell of a fight. It's gonna be a 3 or maybe even a 4v1 if he can survive this until someone comes to help him. He'll be good off, but oh man, no. There's the stomp coming up from Jerry E. Gets feared off, pushed off. Nope. Looks like they're just going to deeps him down. That Flesh Golem is going to spend some time on him. Meanwhile, at the waterfall, it's again Calms versus Saravi. Withwas comes up to support. Looks like blue team is coming back in this game now. They're 2 caps. They've got 127 points, but they're closing the gap to red team, which has about 290, 291 points. Withwas goes away, but here comes New Lita to support Calms, and they're going to take down Saravi very easily. Here comes the stomp, but no, Saravi actually gets up. Let's see what else is going on here. Here comes Tipsy. Here comes Vile Remix. Withwas is somehow in that mix of blue team and not taking any damage. Let's go in with New Lita. See what exactly she's doing. Again, so many conditions. Oh, she goes down. Let's see if Vile goes in for the stomp. No, not really a lot of stop control in this game yet. We're seeing lots of people just attempting to DPS the people down when they're in that downstate blue.
Indeed, we're seeing that right now. Vile Remix is trying to take out New Lita, which I think has just happened successfully there. Now switching their targets over here to Withwas. I think that's his name. Yeah, Withwas at the moment here, he was going to be channeling some heals. They're trying to get out of there. But right now we are seeing Tylines hold these side points. And just to take a note here, this is like something the chat has been going off about this game as well. It's hashtag side point meta. The teams really, and I think you can agree with these over here, that they really aren't going for midpoint at all.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think that really all the fight has gone
To
they
the
just
side
walk
points.
through graveyards. They go to the side points here, and that's really interesting because you really want to decap that mid or get it for yourself at least if you're working those side points, just so you can stop the enemy progression as well as have your own. But I mean, it seems to be working for the blue team here, just focusing on those 2
Yeah.
points because again the gap is closing. It's 333 points for the red team, 229, 230 now, but. Here comes some red aggression on that waterfall point. Nulita's here trying to deal with Saravi. This is a one-on-one that's going to be extremely interesting. Let's see what else is going on here. At the quarry, we've got Jerry E and Rogue Sven going up against Cantuna the Ellie from before. He's actually running around in that water form, trying to just juke around until some support comes. But meanwhile, we actually do see Withwas cutting, or actually, Withwas is bunkering the mid, which it might actually not help the red team because they really need to focus on these side points here, man.
Well, the issue with them leaving it open is obviously, well, it's going to be left open, and because it's more of a central point than it is on the other maps where it's sort of in a triangular position, it's really susceptible to backhopping if they just leave it open there. And really, for the time being, they are at 350 points now, so they could have something up their sleeve, and there could be a reasoning behind them just trying to keep that on there and channel it up to 350, which we'll see in a couple seconds if they decide to rush the Lord.
Absolutely, I want to see if they decide to go all in on this, because they totally could. They could just make it look like they're falling off these side points and make it look like they're losing these fights, but really they're rushing the Lord. Let's go in the mid. Seems to be a little fight between Vile and Withwas, but it seems like Vile just decides to run past and go straight to the quarry point where most of the action is going on. I don't think these guys are going to peel off and go for that Lord yet. I think this is going to be fight to the death on the points here. Seeing Columns and Cantuna and now Nulita up here on the quarry. Vile and Roguesman and Jerry E are here to do support. Let's go in with Roguesman, who looks like he's a little bit crippled here. He's got so many conditions on him right now, but he's using those Guardian skills just to his advantage. Again, those shouts are so good at cleansing off those conditions. He's doing a great job also staying on point because, I mean, when you get knocked off point, man, that's how you lose.
Indeed.
You get off and then someone fears you off some more, and then you get stuck in walking face down into a wall. Cantuna is down. Here comes a stomp from somebody. It looks like Roguesman might be going into it. No, they're again gonna DPS these guys down. But actually, Roguesman goes down as well.
Oh my goodness!
Really so many people go down. Everyone's going down.
What we basically just saw there was the power of Sword Dagger Cleave. If I don't know, and there was obviously attributing factors coming in there from the blue team as well. Possibly that Necromancer AoE could have been helping that as well. But from what the numbers I was seeing, just looking at the Thief rather, because he was in down state, just all the cleave going on. Because most of red team was already in a pretty low health pool, this Thief was just able to cleave them all down. And obviously the help coming in there for the Necromancers like Jerry E and all that, who is I believe running Power Necro as well. So triple check that was really going to help that out because just the sheer amount of damage busting out on the red team there was way too much for them to handle trying to get a body up with it.
Absolutely, I'm going to stop you right there, though, because blue team is actually in the lead. At that point, have pushed them over the edge. They do have that 2-cap. Red team finally gets the mid. They had no points for a while. This is the point where blue team comes back. Now, red team really needs to be aggressive. They really need to put aggression onto those points. Like you're seeing Vile going up against Demon Duck. Demon Duck needs to be really supported here by his team, but his team is splitting up and trying to get those side points as well. They're trying to get a 3-cap and come back in, but they're not supporting the teammate in the middle here, man.
Indeed, they're not really, and that's because I don't think really either team wants mid. You saw Thai Alliance has pretty much avoided it like the plague. Even when they had it, I think a couple times they could have free capped it there. They just completely ignored it because it's too much of a risk to take that sort of point with the new meta. Obviously, red team doesn't have any Necros, but I think just in the terms of their strategy, they don't want to risk it losing it because it would be such a setback for them to lose it if their strategy was based around that.
Right, and I think that might be one of the things that right now the current NA and EU meta is so condition heavy, right? And so the one class that everyone uses is the Necro.
Yeah.
Really, Lagwar's lack of a Necro has, I think, put them behind the team fight, and that is how Thai Alliance has just now won this game.
Yes, indeed.
It's kills. Look at it, it's 504, which means you have to have won with the kill right there. When it comes down to it, it's the kills, man.
Indeed, it was the kills there, and like we saw Thailand, just looking at the scoreboard here, the scores themselves really show that Thailand's definitely, their top scorer on Thailand's was 170 points compared to Red Team's top score, only 75 points. You can see just based off of that, the amount of kills that were going out of there. I can't actually see the solid numbers, but we can definitely see the Red Team had the superior team fighting because, well, they ended up having superior control of the points.
Right, you're absolutely right. I think that ends this match for us, man. It's
Indeed.
2 for Thai Alliance.
It's 2 for Thai Alliance. They're going to be moving on to take on, and whoa, my webcam's going crazy there. But anyway, they're going to be moving on to take on our next challengers. Let's take a look at our brackets, actually, and see them right now. Moving over to them now. So Lag Wars will be moving on. I don't actually have the updated brackets as it, or actually
Thai
Thai Lions.
Lions
Yeah, Thai Lions will be moving on.
to fight MFC, but Lag Wars is not entirely out of this, guys. Lag Wars is going to losers bracket. This is a double elimination tournament, so don't worry, you'll be seeing more of our. Next up, are we doing You'll Be Adjusted versus Phantom Family?
I believe we are, but we do have to reset the server, so I think we're going to take a quick break on that. So we're going to take a quick break real quick, and as soon as we get everything set up, we got to reset the arena real quick and everything, but as soon as all that's ready, we'll be right back. For now, we're going to take a quick AFK break, and, well, just enjoy the music.